as you talked about, and I've talked about too, the reptile alien presence. What are we talking about, reptile alien presence? I don't know exactly what all of this means, but I know it's there. I've heard way too much not to know that there is a reptile alien presence on the Earth.
The original colonists on this planet, again I'm condensing a lot because you can read about it in that book, were reptilian beings. Reptilians represent about 25% of the population of this galaxy. Human life form represents about 70% of the life forms in this particular galaxy. And the human civilizations that existed in this galaxy originated in what is called the Lyrian star system. And I'll put that word up on the board for you because you may hear it a lot in the future. The star system was called Lyri. And for all intents and purposes, that was the home star system of all human life in this galaxy. And there is another star system that can be seen, I believe, from the southern hemisphere that is called Draco. And it was from here that the reptilian civilizations or beings existed, and they actually attacked the Lyrian civilization and broke it up into many pieces. And the refugees of the Lyrian star system fanned out throughout this sector of the galaxy and occupied a lot of the star systems that are within this particular sector. Now, if you look at our galaxy, about the Milky Way galaxy, it kind of looks like a pinwheel, like that. And this particular solar system that we are in occupies one little point on the tip of one of the arms that reaches out into deep space. So that if you were an invasion force and sought to occupy an entire galaxy, and you came upon a shape like this, the most logical thing for you to do would be to occupy all of the various points, thereby surrounding the entire inner portion of the galaxy, and then you can take your time working your way in, because in effect you already won. So that is what the Dracos have done, or the Draconians have done. So this is planetary structure. When Lemuria sank into the ocean, or actually sank into the upper surface or upper crust of this area, many of the survivors or refugees of that continent went into the inner earth, where they exist to this very day. And that began the ancient rumors of hell and fire underneath the earth and demonic creatures that live under the earth. That's where those ancient myths and rumors got started, is when the reptilians had to go inside the earth in order to survive. Now, the reptilians are very patient creatures, and they have an air or feeling of superiority about them as it pertains to humans or mammalians, and there's reasons why. Reptilians, as I mentioned to you, are androgynous. They have male and female in the same body. When you go outside of physical reality, you know that there is no gender. It's just energy, not male or female, just energy. So in their mindset, they feel that they incorporate this God-mind-like understanding already in physical reality, making them superior to mammalian creatures who have to split into male and female. To them, that's more separation. That's one reason. Second thing is, and you can notice this on the Earth right now, reptilian DNA does not change or alter very much over millions of years. It stays pretty much constant. Whereas mammalian genetics must adapt and change and evolve constantly in order to survive, and most times doesn't. So to the reptilian mindset, that makes mammalians inferior because they need to adapt and change all of the time, whereas if you are perfect, you don't have to change anymore. So in their mindset, they feel superior over mammalians. Now, doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just explaining to you how they think.
The first race to actually chart our planet was a group from Alpha Draconis. They are reptilian beings. And they don't like human beings. Not here, not anywhere. They were the very first to chart it. They were also the very first to actually have a small colony here 809 million years ago. Now, One of the very first colonies or places that was colonized on the planet is North America, what we now call the United States. There are approximately, today, 1,833 of these reptilians still existing inside the planet. They have lived here for thousands of years. They live thousands of years. Their bodies are not like ours. They live anywhere from 100 to 200 miles beneath the surface. This is where they are. And it's all over. The planet is honeycombed with tunnels. And Lyra itself was destroyed in a war, and everybody just scattered and migrated out to survive. And according to them, and this is probably a good time, I want to add this before I forget, they say, the Andromedans, based on stories that the ancient Draconians have recorded, that the human race was created by another race called the Patal. They have no idea where the Patals are. The human lineage, we have no recording of this, but the Draconians have legends of this because the Draconians then were warring against the Patal. And the Patal was constantly trying to protect this small band, and based on the description, it's the human race.
And he said the moment it appeared in that circle from out of nowhere, it pointed up at us, and the ritual stopped, the singing stopped, everyone pointed up, and we knew that we'd been seen. And he said, so we figured we were far enough away, up on the mountain, and they were out in the valley, that, you know, they would never catch up with us. He said, we turned to run, and that entity that was in the circle was there within a few seconds. It confronted us. It came all the way across the valley and up the side of the mountain. It was not human. And he says, there were 6 families here. We're talking about 6 Christian families with women and children. And he said, we all stood there and watched this thing and saw this thing. He said it was well over 7 foot tall. It was extremely muscular, almost an obscenity. It was extremely muscular in body form. He said, but it was designed like a male human. But it was totally filled with scales, and the head, this thing's over 7 foot tall, the head was the head of a reptile. And he said, it stared at us, and we could tell this thing was an extremely intelligent. It was not a reptile in the normal sense. And he said, this thing stood there staring us at all of us. And he said, I was amazed. Even the children didn't cry. No one could do anything. They were so frightened. He says, then it finally decided that we were not a threat to it, so it turned like it was going to leave, and then it stopped and turned back around and looked at the men, and it never said a thing. He said, but we could tell what it was thinking, that it was very unhappy that we had interrupted its ritual, and it was trying to decide what it was going to do about us. And he said, and it finally turned, and in just a flip of an eye, he said, just a twinkling of an eye, it was gone. Zing, it was gone. And he said, then went back down into the circle. He said, we took off running, and no one said anything. We just ran and ran and ran. And he says, so this morning when I heard you on the radio talking about reptilian gods, he says, I got news for you. They're still here. We saw one. And he said, this thing was over 7 foot tall. This was 6 different Christian families that were there together and saw it together.
Lisa's drawing of the reptilian entity that was very aggressive sexually with her as well. And again, she says, please remember, she's no artist, but it was a brown, scaly, hard exterior with the slit eyes, vertically slit eyes, and clawed appendages or fingers. And a very robust entity.
The Illuminati, as the popular term for them today is, a group which has been around for thousands of years on this planet. They came from off of this planet and interbred with humans. They are reptilian. they have their chosen bloodlines, and they continue to try and keep their genetics pure and interbreed with these chosen bloodlines. These beings are part human and they are part reptilian.
However, I was told by Mornay 3.5 weeks ago that the core group of this, of the dark side, we call it many names, the Illuminati, the powers that be, the royal families, the royal bloodline, the reptilians, etc., whatever you want to call them, whatever label we have for them. And what they're doing is they are eliminating 3 levels of corporate management of the world, that they are eliminating it because it's weak. They cannot depend on it. What they're basically do is getting rid of their own rats, so that when they implement a one world government and a global currency, these guys will not be a part of the management team. Now, to add to that, he also said that a series of actions would be occurring this year.
Okay.
And these events are designed to empower humanity. Now, the reason for this, I said, well, what are they? He said, I can't share that with you yet because they're still being developed. He said that the purpose for this is that when we finally meet them, meaning extraterrestrials, we will not worship them.
We're going to guide your life so that you learn what you're supposed to. You will have all the experiences that we will see to it that you will have, so that one day, he said, what you're going to do for us will not happen till the last part of your life. It's going to be the very last part of your life. But when that day comes, you will know what it is you will have to do. I live in fear of what's coming because of what I know, not because of what I believe or think, because of what I know. Did you ever see the movie, the television show, V?
Oh, absolutely.
The very first one?
Yeah.
Well, the ABC is now remaking V. They're remaking it. And I was shocked. Someone sent me an email. I think they were in Hollywood. And they sent me an email with a picture from the new movie coming out soon. I think it's going to come out in the next month or so. A made-for-television movie by ABC.
Really? Okay, fabulous.
Disney ABC.
Very interesting.
Okay?
Okay, yes.
And it's going to be called V. Mm-hmm. And it's a remake of the original.
Okay.
But in it, the extraterrestrials, who are referred to as the visitors in the new one are giving to the public a pamphlet explaining their, quote, new world order that they are bringing to the planet.
Right.
And the picture, which I have, shocked me. My knees got weak and I had to sit down. It was shocking. There was the visitors, the alien visitors who looked like humans, were handing out pamphlets to the people about their new order that they were going to bring in. And the title of the pamphlet was The Dawn of a New Day. The very words that I have been researching for some 40 years.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, that is not only significant, it's mind-blowing when I give you the whole story. ABC and Disney are telling you something about this symbol that I've been looking at for a long time, and it's going to be right in your face. And the other ones, if you remember in the original, the visitors, they were wonderful people. They were very gracious and charming. And then remember the lady who was in charge of the visitors, she was the highest ranking. She went into a room and pulled off her face. It was a reptile alien.
Yes.
I personally, I brought David Icke to America. He was in America because I brought him here personally.
Yes.
And so I'm saying that I am totally convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt, for myself, that there are such things as reptile aliens, though I have never seen one, thank God, but I totally believe they are here.
They're going to try to divide us, and because if you divide, you can conquer. And whatever you do, please don't turn on each other. The enemy is underground. They're on the moon.